Yeah.
That's
I don't know. When I want to do something, I just set my eyes on it and I get it done. Doesn't matter how hard it is or thinking like, dang, how am I gonna do this? I just do it.
Hi, I'm Kelli.
And I'm Danni.
Welcome back to the ProCreatives Podcast for moms who make things.
It's a podcast for moms and future moms who are navigating their creative careers as they raise their little inspirations. Today, we're welcoming the incredible Shanna J to the table. She's a multi-passionate creative and mom of one. Let's tell the people about Shanna.
Yes, Miss Shanna Johnson is a woman of many talents, and she has been grateful for the opportunity to showcase them to others over the past 8 years. She's been in this, y'all. She's an actress, she's a filmmaker, a writer, a photographer, singer, nursing professional, but most importantly, she's a mom. She spent years performing on and off the stage, as well as producing her own short films and web series. Shanna's training includes, but is not limited to Thorne Scott at Actors Gym in Atlanta, as well as with NAACP award nominee Charles Malik Whitfield. She hopes to continue to share impactful stories in front of and behind the camera for all to see for generations to come.
Yes, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Wow, you got an impressive resume there, Miss Lady. It's very, especially when you're nursing. So yes, filmmaker, actress, all those things, right? Singer, right? But nursing professional and mom, like those two, I feel like are the hardest.
Oh, for sure. And Caribbean parents always want you to have the plan B, the backup plan.
Listen, okay, where are you from? What's
My
your
mom's
family?
from Jamaica. Yeah.
From where?
Jamaica.
Jamaica.
So do you understand my struggle?
It's so funny because I'm realizing now that, we are not disconnected from Africa because I hear a lot of Nigerian parents. They want to talk about, what is it, Yvonne? She was like, my parents was, she was like, why, you want to be an actress or what? No, you need to be a doctor or a lawyer. Like they want you to, they say, have a real career. You want to sing and dance and want to entertain, but you need to have a real, like as you said, backup plan.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
But welcome. We're so happy to have
you. We're glad to have you. Didn't know you were Jamaican. So there's that. Wow. That is a whole piece of information. That is.
Well, all island girls on here. I'm Trinidadian. So, blup, blup,
Yeah.
3 island girls on a call. So here we are. Yeah, I like that you brought up the nursing and the motherhood, because I feel like even though that was, your backup plan. Well, actually, that wasn't the backup plan. I don't know what your parents would say. They're like, this is the actual plan, the nursing. The other stuff is the backup. But I find it so interesting that nursing, to me, because to me, nursing and motherhood, they don't go hand in hand, but it's the same like level of care that you need for both. But in this podcast, we always want to lead with motherhood because that's who we are, right? We're moms and we're so many other things, comma. But I feel there are times, or we feel that there are times where people are like, we don't really want to hear about the mom piece. Just do the work. And that's great and that's fine. But we always want to put mom to the forefront. So what was your journey to motherhood like? Did you always want to be a mom, or were you like, I don't know if this is for me? Right. What was that journey like for you?
My journey to motherhood was very unexpected. Something that when I found out, I was like, oh God, no. But I knew how I had committed the sin. So I was like, this is the result. And it was tough because my daughter's father passed away when I was 5 months pregnant. So the journey there was tough because he had sickle cell anemia. And so like dealing with him and being in and out of the hospital, as well as I was wrapping up nursing school. And at the time I had to try to keep my pregnancy on the low because, you need doctor's recommendation that you can live 50 pounds or more. And I'm like, oh my God, come on. I'm in the last semester of nursing school. Get this done. I was still working as a server. I was doing a lot. I felt overwhelmed. I felt stressed. And then after he passed, I was super depressed. I felt like, man, how am I going to do this? How am I going to do this alone? I spent a lot of time with God, praying, listening to praise and worship and things like that. Because if I didn't do that, my mind was just in the darkest of places. Then after she was born, it was even worse because you got postpartum depression.
Yeah.
I was already depressed. And it was a tough process. It was a tough process for me. It took me some time to really feel like, man, I love this. I'm glad that God blessed me to be a mom and all those things, because it took me a while to get out of the hole. Yeah. So it definitely was not a pleasant experience. I'm feeling like, oh my God, I have a child. I'm so excited. I have someone by my side to help raise her and support me and hold my hand in the delivery room. None of that. It was it was traumatic. Right. But now it is a beautiful thing for sure.
Oh, wow.
You're a fighter.
Yeah, listen.
Perseverance is your middle name, sis.
For sure.
Wow.
Yep. Yeah.
Wow.
Having to go through that alone and then to also grieve and also deal with postpartum. Did you have your village? Did you have some, family to lean on, to help you get through those times?
I have family on her dad's side, though it was more like they were going through their grievance as well.
Right.
So they were trying to be there as best as they could. But I think at the same time, just the experience and how it happened, it made me more emotional, more stressed. Because it's the reminder that, oh man, he can't be here to
see her,
witness her and all of it, stuff like that. And on my mom's side, of course, I had full support. My grandma too, before she passed, she was big on taking care of her, watching her if I needed, so I could still go work or do what I needed to do. And that's kind of why I'm still here in South Florida, is because of my village. Because it's hard to find good support. And I know I take that journey elsewhere, like, okay, Shanna, it's just you. It's time to show up independently and do what you got to do. So, yeah, I definitely have had a village. And I'm so grateful for that, because it was definitely needed.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, listen, motherhood, even with the spousal support and stuff, it's challenging in itself, and to experience all those things that you had to experience to go through that. You made it through. You're here, so even if it took you, you said it took you some time to appreciate, that's okay. That's okay. You needed that time. You needed that time to process what was happening, the changes that was happening to you. So yeah. Did you want to be a mom before, like even before all of that? Like when you were growing up, did you have desires of motherhood? And
oh yeah, I've always wanted to be a mom, because I think naturally I'm a nurturer, and I've always loved kids. Like even when my mom had my little sister 10 years after us, I was so excited. Couldn't let go of her, didn't want nobody to hold her, take care of her. Like I've always had that motherly spirit. So yes, it just didn't happen the way I envisioned. But, yeah,
and that's okay, because sometimes, listen, there was not really any plan to be a mom. It's just like, oh, we're going to have kids. Oh, we're actually pregnant. Oh, there's 3 more of them. Wow. Yeah, we have to find things along the way that make the journey better for us. Like no matter how it began, like those things your kids smile, seeing that first tooth, like all of those things. And that's probably why I kept getting pregnant, because I forgot all about the pain. Stuff that was horrible, but the beauty is when you look at your child and like you remember how much you endured. You remember the things that you didn't think you were going to come through. And I think the other thing that it does becoming a mom is like it makes you also appreciate your parents. I mean, we're all children of, Shanna, I don't know if you were born in Jamaica or if your parents were.
California.
Oh, okay. So we're all children of immigrants, right? And immigrants, right? So, like there are so many things that our parents, things that they had to endure that we didn't necessarily see. And now as moms ourselves, we're like, there are things that our kids didn't see in the journey. And now when they get older, we say, hey, look, I'm your mom, but there's so many things that I experienced that when I had you, and we could share or we could not share, but
right. But you know what? It's there to help. Those stories kind of tend to help. So you don't feel so isolated. You don't feel guilty for feeling what you feel.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I just saw a reel this morning with this mom. She was going off. She was like, listen, sometimes I don't like them. And she was just going off about her kids. And she said she really had a tough week. They were home twice in the 1 week. And she was like, she needed them to go back to school, basically. She's just like, I need a break. And she was a stay-at-home mom. And she was saying, this is not for the faint. And so, but a lot of times people don't want to hear that you're stressed or that you are having a hard time. But listen, it's life and it's real. And we need to talk about it more because it is a part of people's journey. Not everybody is having, magical rainbows and unicorn pregnancy journey. I'm just saying,
it's true.
It's very much true. Now, when you became a mother, you said you were working as well, but were you working in your creative career, or were you just, working while?
Because I know you were doing nursing, but were you also doing that creative work too?
So I stopped. After I stopped being a server, I was all over the place. I was in middle school. I was trying to figure out what it is that I loved, what brought me joy. Because that's big. I can't stay in a job for long if I'm not happy. I've tried every area, retail, etc., and nothing was clicking. So I actually wasn't working the first maybe 1.5 year that she was born. I was able to stay with her at home and just raise her, which was great. Yeah. And then in 2016, I was like, man, like I've always wanted to make my own films. And so I was like, oh, I'm signing up for an LLC. I don't know what I'm about to do. I ain't got no money. I can't really afford a camera. Bought like a little Canon Rebel and started writing scripts and just shooting with the people I knew. And that's kind of like where it started. It's always been in my spirit though, like from when I was a little girl. I used to like watch Sister and Moesha and turn on the closed captions and start to write the script just so I could like practice it.
Wow.
That's amazing. Yeah. Ooh, that's a little tip right there. I like that.
It was fun though. Like it's always been like fun to me. And if I'm not creative, I feel lost. Also in that same breath, I started doing nursing because I was like, girl, you need some money. And really that's why I did it.
Them bills, man.
Oh, for real. And I think that actually the amount of time that I spent in the hospital and rehab and stuff with her father, that it turned me away from the medical field a bit because everything was just kind of a reminder, you know. And I worked hospice for a while and all that other stuff, and that was rewarding in itself. But like this, starting October of last year, I haven't been working, nursing, anything. I put my full focus into being creative, into acting, into voiceovers, into creating my work. And of course, I haven't stopped hearing my mom's mouth about it. And when am I going to get a real job? And when's the money so I can pay the bills? But, I told her, listen, we're going to be billionaires. Don't worry about it. She's like, when? How? I'm like, don't worry about it. God has designed it.
That's right.
It's happening. We don't know how. We don't know what. I was like, but just see it through, Mom. See it through.
Yeah, catch the vision. Catch the vision, Mom.
Yeah, that's
it's coming. Because you're committed. You're all in.
How do you maintain that sense of identity? And, like, how do you, because like your mom is like definitely, listen, our family are great. They're great, right?
Yeah,
but they also have ideas of how they see us. And that's what anybody, like, even if you're working at a job, everybody has an idea of how they see you, right? But you are so grounded, right? How do you maintain that, being so that confidence, despite all those things that you're hearing?
It's faith for me. And it actually was therapy as well. It helped me to block out being a people pleaser, listening to the negativity of others. Because a lot of times people wish they could do the same things as you. They had dreams, they had goals, but they never went for them. They're wondering like, damn, why not have that drive? Why not have that, mind space around what I wanted to do? But really, it's God, man. Like, there's no other explanation. When I look at certain things, when I see the things that I overcome, even just mentally, it's Him. At the end of the day, I cannot deny it. I can put it on something else. I can't even put it on therapy, even though therapy has been very helpful. But without Him, I feel empty. I feel like that's where I find my drive, because I know that the impossible is definitely possible. The things that may seem like they're out of reach, they're reachable.
Yes.
It's just pulling myself out of the negative mindset, no matter who it is, even if it's my own mother who I love dearly.
Yes.
I have to remind her that, hey, like, this is what I want.
Yeah.
No matter what, I don't care how many times she comes and tells me things that may be a little negative or a little questionable. I'll be like, I hear you, but I don't, because I block out the negativity.
Because it's your journey, right?
Yeah.
Because I think that's what the challenging thing for parents, they say, they're like, I just don't want you to feel pain. They don't want you to struggle. They want you to see you, they want to see you affluent. They want to see it now. They don't want to wait to see it. Because I know
either.
This is it, right? I definitely get it, but you also have to, understand that this is your process. And I think it's just hard for parents to see that. Yeah. And how are you able to do, be this creative, powerhouse and like maintain like that, how not really balance it, but like you're a mother as well. So you're being able to do both of these things. How are you able to do that?
That's tough, especially because people often forget that I'm a mother.
Yeah.
So when they're trying to pull me to do all of these things, I'm like, hold up now, I got to get my daughter your daughter. Oh, yeah.
And you got to speak up. Yes.
Yes, I do. And she comes first, like, despite everything. I really think it's because my daughter is so understanding. Ever since she was little, she's been with me when I do little stuff on set and just got to be behind the camera and experience what I do. She sees me edit for hours on end. She sees me rehearse. She's helped me with auditions before. She's very like eccentric, loves to role play, loves to kind of do the same thing, be creative and self. And so that has like helped me a lot, as well as her understanding what I do and being in support of it, as well as the village that I have to help, manage her when I have to go away for a week or two, get the side eye. But, it's all for her. Yeah. It's all for her. And I want to show her that any and everything is possible. And somehow, honestly, again, God just always works it out. When I cannot figure out what I'm about to do, because sometimes I'm in this rut and I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm like, what am I going to do with Kelli Ann? Oh my gosh, I have to do X, Y, Z. I really want to take this opportunity. I was like, but what about her?
Yeah. And I love that. Yeah, because you're right. She comes first. And I love that because, as you said, they forget.
Yeah, they do. They really do. But I don't.
There you go. Yeah, that's right. That's the most important. It does make it easy when she enjoys it, right? Like that's, but also this is her childhood. So you creating and being who you are is a part of her childhood. So yeah. Go ahead,
and she sees you doing the things, and she's also then inspired to do her things because she sees your creativity at work. She sees you doing it, you persevering, you auditioning and doing, like, she's seeing it in real time. So I think also, I don't know if that's the path that she wants to take. It sounds like she's already creative, but it's like, oh, I can do that. My mommy could do that.
Right. She did it. My mommy did it.
And I'm sure she's encouraging you in your faith. Like, you got this, mom.
Listen, there's moments she wanted to support me. She's like, mommy, well, I'm going to get a job. Okay. I'm going to model, I'm going to do something, and I'm going to give you half my money. Because I know you. So like, I know you, and you can pay your bills, and do what you want to do. And I'm just like, girl, I mean, like, it sucks sometimes though, too, because the fact that she's aware of my financial situation as I achieve what I'm going after, makes me a little bit sad. But at the same time, it just shows me how mature and understanding she is. Because there's so many things that she may want to do or want to have that mommy can't provide. I mean, the grandmas will, because grandparents love to spoil their grandchildren.
But she's getting it. The point of the matter is she's getting it. The needs and the wants are being met. Okay.
Yes.
But it makes me feel bad as a parent sometimes because I'm like, yeah, they're giving it to you, but I want to be able to give you XYZ as well. Like from the heart that I worked hard for this and I was able to provide you with this. And it's not all material things. But yeah, I love her. I love her support. And without it, this journey would definitely be much, much harder.
Yeah. It's funny how our kids can be that sounding, not even a sounding board, but they are a source of encouragement sometimes. I know, my mom and that older generations kind of like, they never really let us into their world. It was kind of like this separation between what they have to do as parents out in the world and what happens at home. It's like, I can't see you as anything other than my parents. But I think bringing our kids into our world and the things that we do. So I had this event in LA and, our kids are involved. Danielle knows they're involved in everything. In every single part of the process. And not because, we ask them, hey, this is what we have going on. Do you want to be part of it? Do you want to help out? And they're always like, yeah. And if they didn't, we wouldn't pressure them or anything like that. But I remember having them participating in this event and the guy who was over the venue, he came up to us after the event was over and he's like, I find it really cool that you involve your kids in this. And it's like, yeah, because I'm not just their mom.
Right.
They need to know that outside of them, mommy is this, she's that, she does all of these other things. Because I never want them to think, I want them to see me as a whole person, not just their mother. Even though I am that, she's a multifaceted woman. And I think bringing our kids into the world, not the illegal world, Lord have mercy. Okay, in the legal sense of the word, because there's a story about this 4-year-old helping to wax people.
Oh, and was she 4? I thought she was 7. We're not going to talk. Did you hear?
I saw that.
I briefly heard it.
Listen, about that type of thing. Okay,
no. But no, I think about it in the sense like if you ran a hardware store, right? You see these stories of these movies or whatever. People running hardware stores, their kids help out. Like they help with the hardware store because it's the family business. It's not that you're being forced to do anything, but this is who if the dad is running the store, that's his role. He's the hardware man. Wherever he go in the city, they know him as that guy, and it becomes a part of him. Now, I'm not saying that the kids are necessarily going to have to be that way, but they understand that this is for the family. This is one of our roles in the community. So same as with our children, when we include them in these things, like they're aware of what's happening and the work that it takes. And I feel like we're giving them that opportunity to see the background, to see the work that it takes. They're not going to be surprised if they do decide to any job anyway, that any career that they take, that it's going to take work, right? Because they're going to remember, they're going to recall. So like you're talking about, we didn't see a lot of things our parents went through. And I remember when my parents separated, my mom would include us in conversations. Now, she wasn't bashing. It wasn't about bashing him, but she would let us know when things were getting tough. And she was like, I'm just giving you guys heads up. This is where we're struggling, da-da-da. And people they didn't really agree with that. But I think it was important because she needed us to know the reality of the situation, not to take away our childhood. It wasn't anything like that because we still had fun. We were children. She didn't tell us to go work, but she was making us aware of the situation so that we could all get together and we're all working to just make things better. If it was just like helping out around the house, So as I said, it just goes to show the work that it takes. So when I'm an adult, I know how to stretch things if I need to stretch something, well, thank God for that. Thanks to God for those lessons that I saw, and I also saw her come through it. So, we don't need to feel too bad about it.
Yeah, and that's what she's seeing in you right now. She's seeing that come throughance, and she's with you. I mean, she ain't got nowhere else to go, so she's with you. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
She's with you on the journey, and I'm trying to think of different people who we've even spoken to with older children who are like, they've seen me go through it. Like Kelly Park and her daughter, like talking about her journey, and like her daughter was there. Transitioning. Part of the reason why she was able to do that, because her daughter also inspired her to keep going in this thing. But I thank you again for sharing like where you are, your honest like feelings, because that's what it's about. This motherhood journey is one thing, then a creative journey, it's a whole nother ball game. So endurance, and thankfully your child has your back. I mean, can you just imagine this little girl like, I'll be your reader, mommy, for your audition?
Oh, it's yeah.
That's a ride or die right there. And it's not that you're working her, we're not child labor, nothing like that.
No
but
exploitation.
she wants to support you. And I'm sure that her seeing this process it's going to motivate her. I don't know. It's something about seeing your parent like do the things, like, and it just makes you feel like you can also do this.
Yes, it does. It 100% does. I'm telling you, you seeing them getting through it, you're like, because you're reminded when you're feeling so low that, okay, there is strength. My mother did it. She found the strength. I can find the strength, right? Or I can reach out to her, say, listen, tell me what you did. Give me the tips and tricks, because I'm struggling.
Yeah.
Right.
And keeping it real in that way. But motherhood. Ain't no joke. But let's get into this creative work that you've got going on, because you're creative. It's in your bones. It's right there in that shirt that you're wearing. Okay, the shirt is popping. I love the color scheme of that.
Thank you, Amazon. Thank you.
Shout out Amazon for always being clutch. Let's have you as a sponsor one day.
Yes.
So I saw that you are working on this web series. Congrats. Congrats to you.
Yeah.
So obviously you're balancing motherhood with this creative career. What's the journey like when you're creating? I hate like saying the word journey over and over, but that's really what it is, right? Because I think about traveling on a road, and it's like up. Sometimes it's bumpy, sometimes it's smooth, sometimes like there's a ditch there that you didn't expect.
It's adventure, yes.
It's a whole adventure of creating things. So talk us through a little bit about creating this. Like, where did the inspiration for this series come from? And then also, how does it intersect with you as a mom creating this web series?
Well, it started from when I was just going to shoot a demo scene in Atlanta with my friend Blair. And then after a few people saw it, they were like, oh, well, what happens next? And I was like, I don't know. I was like, this is for my real. I don't know what happens next. But I felt like people kept talking in my ear. And whenever that happens, I feel like it's God trying to communicate to me. So I take it as a sign to like, Shanna, really look into this. Why not? I know you took a break from doing those things because it felt like this is going to be too much. I don't know how I'm going to do it financially and otherwise. But I was like, if it's meant to be, it's going to work out the way that it should. So months later, I said, you know what? I want to write this. I want to write this. But then I just kept getting this block, and I was like, maybe never mind. Maybe I'm not supposed to do this. The block will stop you too completely. I confided in a few people, and they definitely helped encourage me back to like, yeah, you could do this. Yeah, just write it down, organize your thoughts. And I had a strict time frame because the guy actually playing the main guy is having a baby in real life. And I had to do it before February. So I was like, how am I going to write this, do pre-production and production all before the baby comes and with no money? So I've never crowdfunded before. And I was a little nervous because I was like, who's going to donate? But I heard God tell me to do it anyway. And so I did, and we reached our goal. Yeah. And granted, again, the devil was busy. I didn't get any of that until after production was wrapped, because issues were going on with the bank and all kind of stuff. We lost a cast member at the last minute, like I'm talking about the day before shooting. Everybody who came to Atlanta to help me were all people who helped me out of the goodness of their heart, who left their day jobs, their families behind because they believed in me and they supported me. And again, I like how you were talking about communicating with, or how your mom communicated with you guys about things. I communicate with my daughter. You know, I let her know, hey, I'm going to be gone for a week, but it's going to go by quick. Don't worry. And this is happening. And this is why I'm doing it. And, you know, she, again, supportive, excited for me. Oh, mommy, are you going to be on TV?
Right.
Oh, and also the issues that I was discussing in there, like even as I was writing, somehow I feel like I always have to tie in scripture, even if it's something that's going like way off somewhere else and people are thinking, oh, this is about to be inappropriate, you know, but no matter what is happening, whether sinful things are going on, whether whatever, like I always feel like I have to tie in God. And I know sometimes that rubs certain people's shoulders wrong because, again, not everybody is religious. Not everybody is feeling close to him. But I'm like, you know, if he made this possible for me, why would I not? And, you know, I brought in other topics just dealing with men's mental health because I was witnessing that a lot with the friends around me who were men, and just what they were going through. And I was like, man, you guys are feeling like you're not being seen. Right. You guys are going through so much as well. So I tie that in there. You know, fertility issues, miscarriage, a lot of my experiences as well as the people around me. And I just felt like it was meant to be told. It was supposed to happen. And despite all of the trials and tribulations, which there were many, more than good, we still got it done. So, yeah. I don't know. When I want to do something, I just set my eyes on it and I get it done. Doesn't matter how hard it is or thinking like, dang, how am I gonna do this? I just do it.
I love that. Oh, that's a God-given thing. You know, and we hear that a lot. And I think not a lot of people necessarily listen to their instinct or trust their gut, like they call it, right? But when something's planted in you, right? I feel like it's a part of you, and when it's, you know, God given to you, you can't ignore it because it's a part of you, right? Which is why maybe where, you know, you get your confidence in this and you're moving forward, and you know, clearly the stories need to be told. Like men are feeling like they're not seen. A lot of men are having that discussion now, and I'm glad. Okay, good. Speak up. We want to hear your voices, and I'm glad that you created a space for them. Yeah, that's awesome. And I know you said you get your creativity, like you basically draw from experiences from everybody around you, and that also makes it authentic, and you also get a real life kind of like, you realize that this is what is needed in the world, right? So it's like doing an assessment, and you're able to draw it. Yeah. So thank God for your friends, because seriously, you know, you're able to provide quality content that's relevant.
Yes.
Wonderful. And, you know, shout out to you again for that perseverance and that persistence. That is something that we need in motherhood and life. And like you were saying, Danielle, like it is easy I think we saw generations of moms before us just go, I just got to focus on my kid. Like I can't even conceptualize my dreams because of motherhood. I can't even, yes, I know in my heart I want to be a dancer on Soul Train, but I can't because, you know, I've got to raise these children. And, you know, I think we've seen so many moms just literally offer themselves as a sacrifice when they may not have actually, well, let me not say they may not have actually, because I'm here because, you know, you know, we're all here because of the sacrifices that our parents made. But I don't want to sacrifice myself. in that sense. Like, I don't want to sacrifice what God has called me to do, because that's a part of it too. It's not just motherhood, but it's like, what's God saying in your life? What is he calling you to do? And maybe it is strictly motherhood. And for some people that is their calling and they know that. But if it is creating a whole new world through the words that you put on the page, that's something that you can't leave behind, you know. You got to see it through. And so, yeah, kudos to you for just going, you know what? I've got this dream in my heart. I don't know how it's going to happen, but God showed up. And to me, that's the confirmation that you're in the lane that you're supposed to be in. Yeah, so that's beautiful. Kudos to you. Kudos to you and the team. And, you know, did the guy have the baby already?
It was due a few days ago.
Oh,
they were trying to walk it out. I'm not really sure if the baby made it just yet.
All right, still cooking.
But you rap though, so you know.
I rap, and that's all I cared about. I care about the baby too.
No, we understand. But you met the deadline, and that was very.
Listen, and just the reality of it, I had to max out my credit cards. I used money that was for my car payment, everything, because the crowdfunding hadn't come through. Mm-hmm. I was like, how am I about to feed the cows? How am I about to do this? When I tell you, just everybody on that set, from the cast to the crew, was just so understanding, so supportive. Mm. They're supposed to be taking care of them, and they're worried about taking care of me. Oh, Shanna, did you eat? You know, let me go grab you something. Let me, make sure you're good. But at the same time, I'm like, make sure y'all good. You guys came out of your way,
But they believe in you.
Yeah,
they believe
exactly.
in you. Yeah, they believe in the stories that you have to tell. So that's awesome. Yeah.
And I just want to encourage you that you're not alone. You know, you're not alone. Even in those moments that you may feel like you are, your community was there.
Yeah, they showed up.
They showed up for you, boo.
Some of them didn't even talk to me like that. Like, we were meeting for the first time.
But they showed up, but you still had that support.
Showed up. That is wonderful. Woo! It's inspiring. It's encouraging, because sometimes we start these things, we have these ideas, right? Especially moms. We already have a lot going on in our minds. And we have this idea that, can we do it? Can I do it? Mm-hmm. That's always the question, right? That we have when we have an idea. Can I do this? And if so, how? And, as moms, we're already strategizing, and we already realize, well, I don't really have the resources. It's like, we're already like,
and no matter how busy I was, and my daughter would FaceTime me, call me. I was like, Shanna, you have to make time for her. I was like, what's going on? I don't care what date we're on. I don't care what the time we're running out of. You have to speak to her.
Yes.
You have to talk and see how her day is going, see how she's feeling. I always have to give myself that reminder to make time. Because when you're feeling, you sometimes, I don't forget that I'm a mother, but I'm in this space where I'm not paying attention to the outside world. And I'm just focusing like, okay, this is what's happening with Shanna right now, and this is what I'm doing. And completely forget, like, there's still a little person who is relying on you, who misses you, needs you, you're not there. So it's always just giving myself those reminders to be there for her. Even when I'm busy editing for hours on end, I'm like, let me take the time. Want to watch a movie? Want to eat some pop-up? Let's have some cookies. Just do it to remind her that I am present still, even though it may seem like I'm not present.
Yeah. Making sure that she is
she feels
she knows
too.
that she's the priority. Because it is easy to just go, I had this stuff to do, I got that stuff to do. But our kids, they have to be the priority, because they know and they feel it when they're not.
Yeah.
I share that same sentiment. It's like, okay, stop. And I got anecdotes for days, because my kids are all, half of them are older than your daughter. But I had a call. I was on yesterday, and my son had asked me before the call. He's like, can you come outside and play basketball with me? And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm ready. And then next thing I was on this phone call, And so he came into the room and he just sat down and he's looking at me while I'm on the phone.
Yeah, like, you gonna pay this debt, lady. Yeah.
Excuse me. And so I was like, you know what? I gotta go. It was for my job that he was like, I was like, no, I gotta honor my word and give him the time that he needs and he wants, and that I want too. It ended up being a wonderful, I'm no basketball player, but it ended up being a great experience. But our kids can also feel when they're not the priority, and just like you said in the beginning, you're saying that you're going to prioritize her because you know that other people are not going to do that. They're not going to prioritize her. So it has to be, it's your business to make sure that she knows that she's not forgotten.
It doesn't matter how many words. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but it's like it doesn't really matter how many words we use to like describe, like we explain ourselves, and sometimes we like they just don't. They're not really going to always understand. That's really the fact. So, Kelly, I have talked about this about making sure we give them quality time. Make sure you put aside time for them. If you maintain certain kinds of routines, like if you're reading a book every day, even when you're out of town, you better get on FaceTime and you better read this book. Right? Okay. Because we also have to do that for them. We also have to show up for them because we don't want to cause more problems, right? We also don't want our joy to be their pain, right? So it's just about you know what I'm saying. So we have to make sure that. Like just now before we started, when they came in the room and I snapped a little. I was like, I told you I'm busy, but they know I'm busy, but they also was like, okay, I think they were always also reminding me, listen, you say an hour, so don't go past that time. We still want you out here. We still want you out here. But I also had to track back and say, okay, what do you need? Because they wanted me to hear them in that moment. So, as I say, sometimes I don't always understand. But what advice would you give to other women who are aspiring actors, writers, or producers, and they're navigating motherhood?
To know that it's all possible. Like the things that we fear, it's all in our mind. We actually create that blockage for ourselves when we assume that just because we're a mother, now we can no longer do this. A lot of people have kids and think things are no longer attainable, but they are. I've seen it done with the women around me. I've seen it done with my mother and 4 kids. So just knowing that whatever dream or goal you have for yourself, it is attainable. You just have to be able to learn how to balance. If you're a believer, you have to put some of those burdens and that trust in God. As he says, be still and know that I am God. It's lay out what you want, write it down, make a plan for yourself. Even if it's baby steps, it's still steps. It's always been like, oh my gosh, I want to do this and I want to do it right now. But God has shown me like, that's nice, Shanna. I know you want to do this by a certain time, but it's really not even my time. And I'm in control, but I'm not in control. I think I'm in control. It's really his timing, and just, as long as you are consistent and you're passionate about what it is that you want to do, it is surely possible,
Oh, I love that.
And even if you feel like it's too overwhelming and you can't do everything at once, do something small. Something small for me, maybe, all right, I'm just going to write 1 page today or 2 pages. I'm just going to go edit a scene. I'm just going to, baby steps.
Baby steps. I love that.
Try give yourself some grace.
Yeah.
Oh, give yourself some grace.
Yeah. I love
Give yourself some grace. All right, now looking ahead, right? Because we've got a bright future and a bright present that you're currently walking in. But looking ahead, what are some of the hopes and aspirations you have for yourself and your family as you're, going on this, doing your creative work, as you're being a mom? How do you envision your future? Like, what does that look like in motherhood and in creativity?
Future-wise, being able to consistently create independently, without boundaries, without borders, without financial stress. And, you know, I already know my daughter. If there's things that she wants to create, be a part of, ideas that she has, being able to make the time to do those things with her as well. Because a lot of the stress has come from finance, which hasn't left me time, because while I'm busy not being creative, I have to figure out a way to get the money to be creative.
Right.
So I definitely want to be in a space where I can just be comfortable, to be able to do the things that I would like to do creatively, as well as things that she has envisioned for herself, like her YouTube channel, other stuff like that. But sometimes I'm like, Karen, I don't got time to edit. I don't have time to film and do this. And I could honestly make the time. But financial stress has been like a big thing for me. And it's a big thing for a lot of creatives who are independent. And so it just looks like being able to financially support the creative realm, not only for my dreams, but her dreams as well, considering we share similar passions, for sure. Nice. And to inspire. Like, I definitely want to inspire and mentor. I love kids, love them. And one thing I learned as a school nurse, so I'll just throw that in there. There used to be like some troubled kids that people felt like, oh my gosh, they're the worst of the bunch. Right. But really, I met this child one day and realized that it's because she was lacking love. She was lacking love and guidance at home. And the one moment I took to actually see her, and speak to her and hear her out was whole 180. Completely different girl. It wasn't like the same one who was trying so hard to have attitude and be bad and do this. Like, a lot of them just want to know that they're seen, that they're heard, that certain things are just like possible for them, because it seems like it's not based on their way of living. And not everybody is lucky to have love at home or have things that we may have. And so I definitely love anything that has to do with inspiring and mentorship to the people that are next up.
Yes, that's awesome.
Going, for sure.
We love that. Yeah, it's basically being a mom to other people.
yeah, really.
That's okay. Nurturing. Listen, I think because we do have a responsibility to the next generation to, like, to help where we can, help them, because we're leaving. This is going to be their world, right? So we want to make sure that we're taking care of being a good steward of the world too, as making sure that they have the tools to be better and be greater and make the world better and greater. Okay. Now, if you could have a superpower, because we're getting some fun stuff right now. Okay. If you have a superpower, which would you select to help you juggle motherhood and your creative career?
Is there a superpower to, like, I know it's superpower. It's kind of
say you could make it right now. You could create it.
Double yourself, triple yourself, quadruple.
Yes.
Duplication. The cloning superpower.
Yes.
Okay.
That's the one I want.
Why is that the one you want?
I need a clone, someone to be there to actively, spend that time that my daughter seeks, majority of the time that I don't provide for her. Sometimes out of frustration because I have deadlines and I'm trying to get something done. And I'm so focused on the work. Wanted me to actually focus on the work, wanted me to actually go out there and make some money to support the work and support the things that she wants to do. And really, I said, I probably just need two more.
Only two more. Okay.
Only two more. Because, like, when it's hard being the strong woman all the time. It really is. And, as much as I lay my burdens down on the Lord, sometimes, you just you feel overwhelmed. You feel so overwhelmed. And sometimes I'm like, dang, if I could just have another me, someone to put some of this stuff on to just go do it, then that would be great. Yeah, that would be great.
You know what? We pray that soon and very soon you'll have a team of people.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Yeah, a team of people.
Somebody, the team of people to help for sure. You can spend the time with your daughter. You could just assign things. Okay, get this done, and then that's I like that, Kelli. That was good because I was like, oh boy,
we
don't have a clothing machine right now.
A team of people.
I have to learn that too. Is delegate tasks.
Ooh.
That was one of my issues on the series, because whenever I feel like things aren't going the way they're supposed to go, I'm like, let me just do it. Shanna, just do it. Mm-hmm. Instead of saying, hey, give this to somebody. It's okay.
Yes, son.
It's still going to get done. Maybe not in the timing that you would like, but, give it to somebody. Yeah. Delegate. I do have that issue of delegation. So
start small, like you said, baby steps. Hey.
Baby steps.
Baby steps. Ooh, delegation is also a struggle for me. Mm-hmm. It is a struggle at times. I think I'm getting better, particularly the last event the event I just did really helped me to see areas that I can improve, and it really stretched me to just lean in and just like, okay, other people can get this, they got it. They know what they're doing. And it's not really I don't think it's a trust issue. I do think it's a multi-layered thing, but it is like your baby, right? Like I wouldn't just like, you feel uncomfortable giving your kid to a daycare. I'm like, I don't know if I want to leave you with life. I know you have credentials.
You're licensed, right?
I know you've done this before, and I know you're not going to hurt my baby, but it is sometimes that feeling of like, it is hard to let that go because it is a piece of you, so it's
but you do, but sometimes but you let it go. No, that's a really good one. But I like that you use that analogy about the daycare, because ultimately you need the daycare. You realize, what?
You need it.
I cannot, and I need the daycare. So you make the decision to trust in their credentials. Now you can follow up. I do call in, I check in, like what's going on? Why is Buddy's t-shirt in the back? What happened? Why did she change her clothes? You know what I'm saying? You follow up. Just like you can do when you delegate. Delegate doesn't mean let go and just walk away and be blind. No.
Yeah.
It just means you can check in, but it doesn't mean that you have to do the bulk of the work and do everything yourself. So for sure.
Yeah, we pray that, especially when you're creative in different areas. I think that's also challenging, right? Because your vision first and foremost, and you actually do have the tools to make your vision happen.
But you got to communicate it
at the expense of yourself, and that's where it is. It's being at the expense of yourself. So we're praying for a team for you to be able to spread out those responsibilities, people who will be with you in the journey and not just like on a pit stop. Although, those people are there too, right? There are people who are just like, you're at a pit stop and they're only there for that portion. And then, but we want people who will be in it for the long haul, who will be able to hold up our hands on 1 week, whether it's as a mom, I don't know if you're looking for a significant other.
What happened?
As a mom.
How's the weather in LA?
Right? It's pretty sunny down here in Florida.
Village. I'll just say a supportive village, people who can support you in your career, but also in your mother as well. So so we want to I just want to ask one thing. So what's something that you're proud of, either in motherhood or your creative career, when you sit back and you go, you know what? Because sometimes it's hard for us to just sit back and go, wow, I did that. Because sometimes we're just on to the next. So take a moment. What's something that you're proud of as a mom and as a creative, you're like, man, I did that.
Mm-hmm. Honestly, I feel that way about this series. I really do, because again, like, I literally had to fly out to film the day after Grandma's funeral. Whole so much happening. I mean, things didn't stop happening that were just like completely terrible. And me feeling like I wanted to just quit in the thick of, even before I got there, because I got really sick as well. So I was completely sick, went to my grandma's funeral, flew out the next day, stress, obstacle, possible sex trafficking situation.
Oh, jeez.
No doubt.
Atlanta is the hub for that. But I mean, the devil was mad busy. And every time I thought that things, like, this it's gonna get better. Tomorrow's gonna be better. It got worse. But to make it through all of it, to watch everything come from conception to reality and sit down editing it, I feel so proud. Obviously, I didn't do it alone, but it feels so good to have accomplished that, and that no matter what happened, that I was able to get that done. And my daughter to even see, like, you know, some of the finished product, she's excited. Oh, mommy, I can watch. And that makes me feel good, because I know she sees that, all right, like, she did something, she accomplished it, she got it done. And like, this is amazing. So it was a series for me, because it was very trying times, but still made it through and met some great people in the process. So, yeah.
That is amazing. That's amazing, amazing, and wonderful. And we are proud of you, sis. You did that.
Well, listen, I'm proud of y'all too. Okay. Dude. Flowers all around. Flowers all around.
That's right. I love that. Flowers all around. Now, can you share some words of affirmation for a creative mom? Just maybe one word or maybe one statement that we could say, you know, came from Shanna.
I am enough. And I say that mostly because of self-esteem over the years, lack of confidence, especially due to feeling like, oh, you're too big for this. Oh, you need to lose weight for that. Oh, this isn't exactly right because the typical woman is this type of figure, or has a flat stomach, or, you know, is a certain color skin, or except.
Right.
You are enough.
You are enough, just as you are. All
everything. Right. You're enough.
I love that. Oh.
Those 3 words are powerful, and I think that is what the world, you know, attempts to do, is strip away our sense of self. I mean, that's what's going on social media. I feel like everybody looks the same. I'm like,
they do.
Who?
And they do.
What
doctor did you use?
Everybody looks, you know, the same. And it's like, you know, more than the look, it's like, do you know that you're enough, even if you don't have a full face of makeup on, you know? Even if you don't have a BBL, you know what I'm saying? Like, well, some of us got natural born BBLs, okay? I'm not even gonna lie. Some of us out here and we got it.
Carrying a wagon.
Listen, we can't help it. We were born with it, okay? But yeah, I think that's such a great affirmation. I am actually enough. You know, when I walk into these rooms or I'm setting these meetings, I am actually enough. Oh yeah. Why did they ask me to do this? You know, that imposter syndrome. It can really seep in every capacity, whether you're an educator, whether you're an actor. It's like, am I actually? And it's like, no, hold up. let me put some respect on my own name.
and Kelli, I've witnessed a lot of people who I know aren't truly themselves. And that's another subcategory of I am enough. A lot of people, especially a lot of actors I've come across, you can just tell when people aren't being their authentic selves. They're really trying to fit in so hard that they feel like they have to pretend to be a certain way or be over nice or be like whatever. Like, no, you're enough. Like, if I'm ever on set, there's times where I'm quiet. And that's just because I'm processing or I'm focused on getting the job done while everybody's having a big conversation and thinking like, oh, who's the mystery girl? Why is she so quiet? But I'm just being me, because there's some people who try so hard to be seen, to be noticed, that they do too much. They don't know how to be just them. They're fighting so hard to fit in. And I love that I'm not that person. That I just know that I am not who I am. Whoever gravitates to me will gravitate to me. And that's okay. Like, I'm enough.
Yeah. I'm enough. And that goes a long way. The more rooms you're in, it goes a long way, because then you are tempted to fit a mold instead of just standing in your own right. And from what I'm experiencing, is like people actually just want the authenticity. Like, you can spot a fake a mile away. People like, that's a fake Birkin bag, okay? Like, we know that ain't right. Okay. So yeah, I think that's a huge part of being authentic. And I appreciate your openness and your vulnerability, because you could have really just said, life is a creative. I'm here, and it's easy to just sell the story. We're selling stories on the internet.
No story. Therapy taught me to keep it real. Okay. Whether it goes wrong or it goes right, people have to know the reality of the journey.
Because they can make an informed decision based on that.
Yes.
Because we want people, because, influencers, people run into influencing, not realizing how many sacrifices people actually make, how many times they don't live in the moment because they have to document it or create it. You know what I mean? So, let's not, we appreciate you being candid.
And last reminder that, like, your mental health is more important than anything as well.
Yeah.
Because this industry can be very dark, depending which road you go down, depending on who you meet. And a lot of things will seem so tempting and seem like the right way to go. But use your discernment, okay? And focus on your mental health. Make sure that you go into this knowing who you are. And stick with that.
Yeah.
If you go in strong and you know who you are, there's nothing nobody can tell you. People can't make you turn left when you need to go right. Use your discernment.
Yes. She's like heavy on the discernment, okay? Heavy on the discernment. On the discernment, okay? But thank you so much for sharing that. I just thank you so much. I think in every aspect of who we are, we can use those words of wisdom to enrich our lives and encourage us. Because, we not everyone is in a creative space, but we still need to be reminded that we've got the goods. We can make it happen. And who we are is a value. Like, we're valuable as we are.
As we are.
Where would the world be if there was no Danielle?
Listen, I don't know, girl. I'm just
shook up. But yeah, as we are, we have value. And the world always wants to strip us of that. Always wants to strip us. And it's like, why? Because God's the one who assigns value. But we're not going to get into that. We're just going to say.
We're going to say thank you for being on here today with us.
Yes.
Thank you so much for having me. I love this space. I'm in full support of it. I'm grateful. Thank you.
How can people connect with you or their social media otherwise so that they can keep up with the work that you are doing?
Well, they can follow me on Instagram at Shanna J _. And that connects to everything else. Like the bio has everything that links to my production company, or that links to the series, or that links to just everything I have going on acting wise. So that one space will take you everywhere. I also have a website. So, IG will take them to all of those places.
So basically, hit the link in her Instagram bio, okay? Yeah, you'll get everything that you need to connect with her and to support the creative work that she is doing. So glad we got to speak with you today.
Yes, thank you again for joining us on the ProCreatives Podcast.
Thank you so much for listening into the incredible conversation. Catch us weekly on Spotify, Amazon Music, and iHeartRadio. And feel free to leave a review.
Yes, follow us on Instagram and Facebook to get more information and inspiration on motherhood and making things.
And if you enjoyed this episode, share it with a friend. If you have a question or a comment, send us an email at theprocreativespodcast@gmail.com.
Gmail.com.
Bye.
Bye.